Good morning. Shh, no, no, no. Shh, 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 shh. Good morning. How you doing, Brittany? You had an alright day yesterday? Hey, Roxy. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Gigi. Okay. Let's make some coffee. Yes, happy Saturday to all of you. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello. If I had a brain, what would it be full of? Coffee. Morning, Liz. Morning, Marina. How's it going? Let's make coffee. Morning. Maybe yesterday we got fireworks to not start until just after the possibility that which is helpful. That is helpful. Fireworks here quiet enough that she slept through it. It started before she went to bed, but it didn't matter too much because they're far enough away that they were pretty quiet. So she didn't seem to notice really at all. Really nothing was going on in our neighborhood. We were walking around, we went for like a family walk or whatever, which, you know, you can do any day. It doesn't need to be a holiday for that. And what we noticed is that it seems that all of our neighborhood feels the same way we do about the country right now because no one was celebrating. Literally no one. I doesn't care if the daddy's terrified. Yeah, I don't blame her. I'm terrified of loud noises, and I'm a full-grown adult human who can understand where they're from. I can imagine being a tiny little animal and being like, I don't, you know, have any mental basis for where this was all coming from. Yeah, no, definitely not, Roxy. Definitely not. We celebrated in so much as we had a family day together, but like, we just like went on walks and stuff, because my husband had off work, so we were able to. Yeah, you know, I mean, I get that on some level. I kind of have that kind of regulation issue as well, hey Jen, where like I jump if there are loud noises, like even just like a door slamming or whatever. My husband had to train himself not to let the door shut because it rattles me. And he's not slamming it, he's just letting it shut, and it does slam. I got sunburn holding the baby for the nap at the pool. Oh no, we didn't do much, but we are going to a friend's for a cookout today. But like meeting with your friends and celebrating, loving each other is different than celebrating everything that's going on in the world, as it were. In my opinion, but you know, yeah, exactly, just to hang out with your friends. Exactly. So, you know, it's a balancing act, if you will. We did go out to lunch. If you guys want to hear, that's really funny, Nikki. I was going to tell you a story, but Nikki just made me laugh so hard I lost track of my story. what I was gonna say. Nikki's like, what? Mine's free. But what I was gonna say was, we went to a restaurant yesterday, and at the restaurant, I was wearing baby girl here in a ring sling, which is pretty, I mean, pretty standard for me. I think you guys know that. And it wasn't this ring sling, it was like one that I wear out of the house more. This one's more like our indoor one because it's too hot to really wear this one outside, because it's a little thicker. So I have a thinner one that I wear when we go out places, and I had her in it, and the waitress walked by, and she was like clearly busy and like doing a bunch of things, but she looked at me and she said, amazing fit on your ring sling, and then kept walking. And I was like, what? And I looked at my husband and I was like, wait, she like just stopped what she was doing to tell me that my ring sling fit was good. That must mean like it's really good, because she's in the middle of something, and like no one just says that if they don't know, right? And so when she came back around, I was like, thank you so much. And she was like, what is that? And we started talking about the thing, literally, Nikki. And I said to her, I was like, thank you so much for that compliment. Like, that really made my day, because I'm working really hard on it. And she was like, no, like, I work in this neighborhood and I've never seen anyone wear their baby correctly until you. So I thought it was worth mentioning. And I was like, well, thank you. And I guess she's like trained as well or whatever, but she was like, literally no one in this neighborhood even has a ring sling. I was like, yeah, I've never seen anyone use a ring sling in this neighborhood. They all just have soft structure carriers, but and she was like, they're all suffocating their babies. I was like, I know. And I stop them all the time. And she was like, but your fit's good. I was like, well, thank you. It is a really big compliment. It was good. I have a lot of things to say about that. It was really nice of her. And I guess she runs a Facebook group for baby wearing. And so, she added me. It's like a private Facebook group or whatever. So she added me to it. I joined it. But she also was like, hey, are you in the Culver City Moms group? And I was like, no, because I live over here, not in Culver City. She was like, yeah, but we're close enough. And I was like, I guess I could add it. And she was like, it'd be really cool if you would, because there are so many people in this area who need fit checks, and like there's just not enough of us in the group who are knowledgeable to do fit checks. So maybe you could join and help people with fit checks. I was like, I would love to. So I am trying to do that as well, because I guess they're just like struggling to get everyone done. So that's something. That's not my neighborhood exactly, but it's like the neighboring neighborhood. I just never joined the group because I don't live there. My aunt lives there. I definitely was meant to do this. Definitely, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely a good feeling. So, because I guess there's just like a lot of people who they just don't know, and you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, how can you? I didn't know in the beginning either. I say this all the time. Someone very brave commented on one of my TikToks and saw me wearing my first carrier incorrectly, and they linked me to someone who could teach me better. And if I had brushed them off, my baby could be injured or worse. But I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Not all this blind gathered. What's blind gathered? What does that mean? What's blind? Oh, blind hate. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people get so mad. That's the thing, right, though? That, like, people see someone just like trying to help, and they immediately do get angry, like Roxy's saying. They might be like, oh well, I know, so they just like brush off someone giving them good information. And you know, you could be helping, you know, so you could I don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, is that we definitely want to spread awareness and stuff. God, I need this coffee so bad every day. How will I survive without it? What if they took coffee away, you guys? What would we do? I don't know about you, but I would crumble. I would crumble. Like last week when they didn't deliver our coffee. Well, they did deliver our coffee, but like 2 boxes got swapped. It's a long story. And we had like 3 days where I thought we were gonna run out of coffee. I was stressed. Stressed. It's okay, we didn't, obviously. I can't do coffee in this heat. Iced coffee? Iced coffee. Nikki, ice exists. Hey Freya, how are you? Nikki, iced coffee. Caffeine pill would be my go-to, I guess, but I really like coffee. I like the whole thing of it. The truth is, Amanda, we actually have an espresso store near here, so if we had run out, I would have just gone to the mall and gone and buy some in person. But I like my discount. Oh no, that sounds awful. I only use heavy cream when the heat index is 100 plus because it doesn't sit well. Sure, my mom actually the same. Isn't that interesting? I need a different boyfriend. This guy's thinking people deserve hate. Oh, yeah, that's not something that I could tolerate. Iced frozen coffee for the win in the seat. Yes, yes. Iced or frozen coffee. Yes, I agree. Ice it up. And if you don't want to water it down, what I used to do, I don't now because we make our coffee differently now, but when I had a different setup before, I used to make coffee and put it in an ice cube tray and freeze it so that when I went to make iced coffee, I could use coffee ice cubes so that it wasn't a watery, yucky tasting coffee later. Because, you know, like ice waters down the coffee and then you've got just like mush or whatever, right? You know? If I'm not working, iced coffee is my choice in the cooler months. Yeah, a lot of people. Actually, Nikki, when I lived in New York, it didn't matter what time of year it was. I always drank iced coffee because I had to walk to work. And that was different, but because I work at home now, we set the temperature here, so it's kind of like I can drink hot coffee because in here I set it to slime temperature, you know what I mean? So it's always kind of chilly in here anyway. But if I had to walk to work still, oh, we'd be drinking iced coffee every day. Roxy, when you say you're stuck, do you mean just like financially, or you guys share a house or kids? Can you elaborate on that a little more? With insurances ending, yeah. That is a thing a lot of people are going to be dealing with, unfortunately. Do you have any family that lives nearby, Roxy? My husband said something interesting, that finances and already and resources, yeah. Related to the hate thing, my husband said something yesterday about, you know, raising her, and obviously we're thrilled to have her and she's the love of our lives, but like we didn't know what was going to happen, as we've said a lot of times with elections and things like that. When we chose to have her, we thought that it was going to be at least a little different, maybe not wholly different, but a little different. Yeah, exactly, Amanda. He said yesterday, even if things turn around in the next election, the hate that has been curated by the way that these people bolster hate groups is something that will not die out before we die. Like, it's too long lasting. Those kinds of things don't just disappear overnight. And he was like, we're going to spend the rest of our lives dealing with this and trying to teach her better. I don't know if it will be the rest of her life, I can't say, but we're older parents, and so we will probably pass before it's fixed. Which is a really hard pill to swallow as a parent. Which my biggest brings me deep. Yeah, I completely agree, Nikki. But and that's, you know, a lot of people have to do that for their own mental health. We just are trying to at least stay abreast of what's coming. I'm trying not to get too involved in it, but like just know enough to know how it's gonna hit us. That kind of thing. Yeah, I don't blame you, Mel. I do too. And I don't even have any yet. I just have her. But, you know, I worry for her children, if she chooses to have any, you know. Yeah. Italy does sound better and better. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. We literally, like, I was talking to him about it yesterday, and we were like, maybe we prepare to go. And raise her, you know, in a quiet mountain town in the Alps, and hide out in the hills, and, you know, whatever. Yeah, Under the Desk News is a really useful resource in that arena, not to use a Hunger Games term, if you will. Good morning. I worry being in a society with so many people without empathy. It's weird. It's strange, right, Jen? Like, how? We're prepping as we speak. Yeah, to go to Poland, I assume, if things go bad. Yeah, no, I mean, we all want the community, right? That's like the whole thing. Canada is providing asylum for Americans too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I think they know that the people who would choose to go are obviously going to be a boon to their country rather than a detriment, because, you know, somewhere in Europe, but Poland is an option for. Well, yeah, because you guys have citizenship, right? Isn't that? Am I? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Anya. I think you have dual citizenship. Canadian here, we're scared too. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Being a neighboring country to this mess sounds. You do. I thought so, Anya. I thought so. I do not blame Canadians who are concerned. I know that there are people who are like, oh, well, it's not your... Well, I wouldn't want to be neighboring to a hotbed of insanity. You want to live above a hotbed of insanity? I sure don't. It's like living above a restaurant that doesn't follow fire regulation rules. You know? And I've done that before. And the fire alarms did go off in the middle of the night, and it is scary. So, yeah. That's how America got all the scientists in the first place being in Germany. Yeah. So we might be kicking it to another place and doing the same thing there. You know, the thing of it is, and you know, you have to think ahead to different things. I have a degree where I could teach English in Italy very easily. You know, it is about to happen in reverse, Kimberly. I think you're right. Yeah. My husband, it would be harder in his line of work, but I could definitely work in Italy pretty easily. They're always looking for English teachers there, you know, especially ones who have a colloquial grasp on the language, because they want their children to be able to participate in the world, and English is the majority language right now. Well, Chinese, but you know what I mean. I'm not exactly sure where I'd go. Yeah, it's hard to decide, right? It's hard to choose. We just have Italy because there's a very strong case for dual citizenship. Yeah, Norway's great. What a beautiful place to go. So anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here to read, but you know, worth noting anyway. You know, yeah. I mean, why not, Anya? There's so many beautiful places there, and the whole country is a bit smaller than California, so it would be. Oh, don't be sorry, Roxy. It's a worthwhile conversation. Denmark, I'd love to visit Denmark. I don't know if I would live there, but this is gonna sound. This is a privileged thing to say. Are you ready to hear the most privileged thing I'm going to say in probably this entire year? The European countries around Denmark and Amsterdam, the food is not for my stomach. So as much as they are beautiful, it's not a place that I can stomach living, because when I visited those places, I'm like, oh, there's nothing here for me to eat. So that is the reason I would choose not to live in those countries, because my composition as a human was made for my country's food. And when I try to eat the food in those other countries, my stomach is like, what is happening right now? So as beautiful as they are, I'm gonna go ahead and skip out on that. But I'd love to visit. I would absolutely love, I would love to go to Denmark specifically for all of the Little Mermaid related things. That is something my family swears from Denmark once in my answer, she didn't show it. I mean, my husband's family swears up and down that they're almost entirely Irish, and then he did his DNA and guess what, he's Scottish. So, you know, lived in Holland for 3 months as a teen, so much travel at your fingertips. Yeah, so great, right, Kimberly? So great. I did all of my studying abroad in Italy because that's where my family's from. And it was so easy to just hop around and go places. So wonderful. Such a beautiful opportunity, you know. So yeah. All right, well, let's get to reading. As far as slime goes, I will do my next slime live whenever I am able, but there's not a scheduled one right this second. I didn't think about the food. Yeah, but you know, exactly, same Nikki, because of that. Food is so good from the Czech Republic. Really, I've never been. We almost went to the Czech Republic on our honeymoon. Like, we almost popped over there as a part of the like Germany, Austria situation, but we did not. Because of timing. It was just too much. Like, I was pregnant and like it was just, you know, because I think we like delayed our honeymoon for a couple months after we got married. But anyway, so we're on chapter 8. Let us read chapter 8 on this, the day after Hamish's birthday. Sore ribs and all, I think about punching the question right off Plutarch's face, because the implication is clear. He isn't just asking why we didn't start a mini rebellion in the gym. He means back in District 12 as well. Why do we let the capital brutes rule us? Is it because we're cowards? Because we're stupid? Why do you submit to it all? He presses. Because you have the guns? Regina says flatly. Is it really about the weapons, though? I mean, I grant you, they are an advantage. But on the other hand, when you consider the sheer differences in number, district to capital, Plutarch muses, and yes, we do far outnumber the peacekeepers in 12, and I think about the weapons that we could lay our hands on, pickaxes, knives, possibly some explosives. But in the face of automatic rifles, airing bombs, gases, and the capital's menagerie of mutts, I don't think we submit, I say to him. It's implied. You accept the capital's conditions. Because we don't want to end up dead? I snap. Do you really not see that? No, I do. I see the hangings and the shootings and the starvation and the Hunger Games. No, I do, Plutarch says. And yet, I still don't think the fear that they inspire justifies this arrangement that we've all entered into. Do you? And we stare at him. He's not taunting or mocking us. He's genuinely asking, why do people agree to it? Why do I? For the matter, why have people always agreed to it? And when we don't respond, he just shrugs. Well, it is something to think about anyway. Oh, Plutarch. He just started a real big thought exercise in these people's heads and mine. Why do we? I mean, we're not here, not us, but in some ways we are a little bit complicit, but that's another story for another day. You rob Hamish, Hercilia says, and offers me a knife, which I could A, throw, or B, drive into a peacekeeper's heart, ensuring my immediate death. I'm a little wobbly, but I still hit the target. That conversation is nuts because of what happens later in the books. I know, later/earlier, depending on how you look at it, right, Avery? It is interesting that he becomes a part of the revolution later because he's like, what's going on here? Like, he's literally like working his way through becoming a rebel in this time. And then we get to see the outcome where he literally turns it around and he's like, nah. Plutarch waits for me at the end of the line and I try to ignore him, but he keeps yapping. You put on quite a show last night. Yeah, well, I bet your cards stacked it right into the compliment for the president. No need to. The broadcast to the public ended when the firecracker went off. Capital News coverage is presenting the opening ceremonies, and it's flawless. I doubt that people who take Capital News seriously will spend much time questioning that, I say. They don't care what happens to us tributes, dead or alive. And I wonder what they did with Luella's body. I hope it's been sent home to the McCoys. Their family plot is right next door to ours, so Luella and I will be reunited soon enough. I start to turn away, but Plutarch lays a hand on my arm. Sorry about Luella, Hamish. She was a person of substance, and I could see that right off. Nikki, you're definitely not the only person who's ever said that at all. Is he actually giving me condolences right now? Why do you keep dogging me? I snap at him. There's a gym full of people just aching for some exposure. Why don't you just spread yourself around a little? I'm assigned to cover 12. He raises his hand and backs away, but I'll give you some space. Aggravated by his probing, I pull Maisie and Wyatt aside. Listen, if we join Ambert's alliance, these folks from 7 will be on our team, and now I'm going to introduce you to Regina over there. I give Maisie a hard stare. Look, you have to be nice. Don't comment on her hair. Don't comment on her nails. Don't comment on how she looks in brown. Don't ask to examine her pin because you're an authority on jewelry. Maisie sniffs. Whatever, I like her hair. And Wyatt, don't be weird. Don't start spouting out the odds on their deaths. Can I do other people's? No, not yet anyway. Maybe not ever. It's creepy. If you have to do odds, do it like on gifts or sponsors or something, I say. Forget about being loose cannons. We need to seem like people that you would want to have as your allies, like people that you would hope were beside you in a mine accident. Steady, smart, and trustworthy. Ampert, glowing in an electric blue, runs up and swings a loop of black cord over his head. Hey, Hamish, District 10 is in. They're the ones in crimson. I met them at knot tying. One of the guys, Buck, he made me this lariat, and I think it's turning into some kind of token. I'm thinking of turning it into some kind of token because I didn't bring one. And he wraps the cord in loose bands around his hand, and he pulls it over his head and drops his voice, and then I can unwind it, and I can use it in the arena. Maisie's lip twitches. Well, you can't wear it like that. It's not the least bit ornamental. You look like a weasel caught in chicken wire. I do? Emperor doesn't seem offended, but he shoots me a curious look. What did we just discuss? I say to Maisie, and she ignores me and uninvited uncoils the cord from Ampert's neck. Oh, shoot. I didn't even put that together, Jen. She's, for anyone who's watching later, she said, just watch the Ballad movie and realize that the guy that was hanged in 12's last name was Chance. This is Maisie from back home. She's looking to ally up with you, I say, and Maisie examines the cord, testing its flexibility, and twists it between her fingers. You could do like a braid necklace. It's a one-strander. It would look something like this. And she pulls out one of her necklaces and an elaborate black braided piece. A small, shiny medallion etched with a flower is embedded in it. You would have no flower, obviously. Okay, says Ampert. Can you make me one? I mean, I guess I could, but I don't have any tape, so you would need to hold it down while I work, she says. I'll hold it, he answers. And there's nothing to hook it to, so we would have to tie it off, which is really never my first choice. And Ampert digs in his pocket and holds up the safety pin from last night. I got it. She considers it. Oh, all right, well, just be careful if you take it off or the whole thing could unravel. Come on. And she heads for the bleachers, not even checking to see if he's following her. My father wants to meet you. He's at the booth with the potato, Ampert tells me and then scurries away. His father? A potato? Doubt crowds in again. What am I doing? Is Ampert just some delusional child who lives in a fantasy world? Before I commit myself, I really need to know. So I introduce Wyatt to Regina, keeping my fingers crossed that he'll act half normal and head off in search of a man with a potato. After making a lap around the crowded booth, sure enough, I find one. A small man with black hair and his back to me leans against the counter that holds one lone potato and no takers for his skills. I fiddle with a strip of bandage at the neighboring first aid booth while I examine him, and he turns and I note a pair of steel-rimmed glasses. While he bears a strong resemblance to Ampert, this is not why he looks familiar. Oh, it's Beatty from District 3, a Victor. Oh, Ampert's dad is Beatty. I forgot this. Oh no. It's his dad. Oh, God. A cold dread washes over me as the puzzle pieces come together. Ampert is neither a lunatic nor a liar. His father has accompanied him to the capital because he's a victor, and therefore mentor, assigned to coach his own child to his death in the 50th Hunger Games. Can you even imagine? I have chills just thinking about it. Why Beatty has been tapped to man a booth with a potato, I have no idea, but he's supposed to be some kind of technological genius, and the real question is, how did Ampert end up here with him? 2 tributes, reaped from one family? Are they the unluckiest family in Panem? I give up on being covert and I approach him. Hey, you're Ampert's father? I am, and no doubt you're wondering why I'm here, Hamish. And he removes his glasses and polishes them on his shirt. It's because I'm being punished for coming up with a plan to sabotage the capital's communication system. I'm too valuable to kill, but my son is disposable. That pretty much answers my question. That's terrible, I say. I'm really sorry. He's a great kid. He is. And Beatty's eyes find Ampert, sitting across from Maisie on the bleachers, chattering away while she weaves the cord into patterns. And they made you be his mentor, I ask. It's part of the punishment, watching what almost certainly will be the last hours of my own son's life. They even gave me a booth in training, which mentors don't traditionally attend, so that I wouldn't miss a minute of it. If I wasn't here to witness it, there would be no point in the punishment. I can't think of anything to say to comfort him, but I try. This isn't your fault. But it is, entirely. I took a risk. I didn't suspect that I would be found out until the reaping, and the timing was calculated. If I had known, I could have killed myself, and Ampert would be safe at home. That's how Snow works. He drops his head, resting his fingertips on the wooden counter to steady himself, and I wait for him to disintegrate, but he only says, would you like to learn how to turn a potato into a battery? Light can be important in the arena. Not really, Beatty, I think. What I would really like to do is run away from this raging pit of fire that is your life. But it seems cowardly to say that, like what people back home are probably doing to Ma and Sid right now, so I just say, okay, will there be potatoes in the arena? I don't know. I suspect this assignment was meant to demean me, which it doesn't. That may be the whole purpose. But if you can't find a potato, other things like a lemon, for instance, could work as well. Just don't eat anything after it's been used as a battery. And he pulls out a small tray with little plastic packets. Each contains a couple of nails and a pair of copper coins, many coils of wire, and 2 tiny light bulbs. 2 potatoes would provide more power. I guess if I can find 1 potato, I stand a good chance at finding 2. If not, you might try cutting 1 in half. He produces a second potato and slides it in front of me, and then he offers me a thing that looks like a pencil with a small blade on one end. For now, we're going to use both. Follow along. Beatty tears open a packet and dumps the contents onto the counter. His eyes flick up for a second, and a peacekeeper hovers at my shoulder. A slender knife twitches in my hand. Here I am, armed again, with access. Well, it's something to think about. Now, this battery is made up of copper, zinc, and phosphoric acid in the potato juice, which is an electrically conductive solution. It makes for possible ions to travel between 2 metals. Our goal here is to create a circuit and illuminate this bulb. He's lost me already, but I nod like he is making sense. First, we need space for the coin. Beatty cuts a coin-sized slot into the side of his potato, and I copy him. And then we wrap 1 of the copper coins in wire, and we insert it and leave a long tail out. I sink my wire-wrapped coin into my potato. Does this mean that it will be dark in the arena? Oh, no. I mean, I have actually no idea, no knowledge of the arena. But they say if you boil the potato, you can increase your output, so that's something to keep in mind. But if I could boil a potato, I would have already successfully made a fire, so... A smile plays on his lips. So you'd have achieved an alternative source of light. This whole potato exercise would then be a waste of your time. I didn't mean that. Sorry, I say. You don't need to apologize to me for being astute. I'm just glad that you're paying attention. I feel the peacekeeper move on. Wyra said there would be clues about the arena in training. Well, I would listen to her. Having been her mentor, I do know how clever she is. And he holds up a nail. This is galvanized, coated in zinc. Don't let it touch the coin. These needn't be a coin and a nail. What you actually just need is copper and zinc. Strips of metal work just as well. You might be able to forage some in the arena if you get beneath the scenery. He sticks the nail into the potato, a few inches from the coin, and I follow suit. Oh yeah, I posted a video actually, Anya, but yeah, I will do more. I love BD so much it's gonna hurt real bad. I know, it's terrible. She also says that every arena is just a machine. Yes, he says, they are all machines of sorts. And I think back to our conversation in the kitchen when I said that I wanted to outsmart the machine and make the Capitol look stupid. Now that just seems like an empty gesture. Wyra spent whole games doing that far better than I ever could, and what did that get us? Besides, whatever little thing I might manage, it would be too easy to keep it up off camera. The real coup would be to... Hey, so if it's a machine, it can be broken, right? I ask. And BD eyes Ampert. Yes, in theory. Practice is always a bit trickier. Now, let's connect our potatoes. And he attaches the wire from his coin to my nail and a third wire to his nail. Suddenly, I remember a clip of BD's games. Somehow, he scavenged parts from his arena and electrocuted all his remaining competitors. I realize that if I'm serious about breaking the machine, I will need this man who once not only outsmarted, but hijacked his own arena. Because even if I'm naturally smart enough, I'm still just a poorly educated boy from the hills who had no idea that you could even turn a potato into a battery. How, BD? How can I break it? I say under my breath. I don't know anything about machines. I'm sure you really do without realizing it. A screw is a simple machine. A wheel, an axe, a lever. Are you familiar with a water pump? Too familiar. That's a lever. It creates a particular vacuum and the water is drawn up, and some machines take a little more know-how than others. I know how white liquor still works. Does that count? I catch a ghost of a smile. I don't see why not. BD takes the wire from my coin and the one from his nail and attaches them to one of the little wires poking out of the base of a tiny bulb. And here we go. And it emits a faint glow. Ma would love this. I think of all the money we could save on candles, but this will not destroy an arena. What would break it, BD? I press. And BD leans over and lifts his glasses and peers under them when he scrutinizes the battery. The circuit? Well, you only need to disconnect one piece, say remove a wire, and the whole battery goes dead. And I realize that there's another peacekeeper behind me, and BD's words are here for her benefit. Remember, we're converting chemical energy into electrical energy to illuminate the bulb. You need to keep the circular path intact. The peacekeeper moves in closer, her nose inches from the battery now, her interest attracting a quartet of tributes in peach outfits. It's District 8. My unofficial allies if things work out. Can we try that? One asks. Of course we can, says BD. Well, thank you for dropping by, Hamish. Come by again if you'd like to practice. And happy belated 16th birthday. I guess Ampert must have told him. He holds out his hand for me to shake. That's funny. I was reaped the day before you were born. Oh, sorry. That's funny. I was reaped on the day you were born. Ooh, BD's Hunger Games were... Yeah, that's awful. It's really awful. Thinking about how all these mentors helped Hamish and then Katniss chose them to ally with. I know, it's so sweet. As I grasp his hand, I feel something, and I palm it, and I conceal it in my pocket. Thanks, sir, I say before walking away. My fingers are probing the little plastic packet bumpy with coins and nails, a little birthday present from BD. If I can find some way to smuggle this into the arena and convince people that I scavenged the stuff, the coins might be tricky, but maybe I could dig up some other copper and find a potato, and I'll be halfway to a really dim bulb. I'm pretty sure that my flint striker's a faster route to light, but possibly those kids in 8 could use it. Up on the bleachers, Maisie Lee puts the finishing touches on an expertly woven braided necklace. Truly, it could pass as anyone's token from home, and she holds it up for inspection. Ampert strokes it in admiration. It's beautiful and perfectly symmetrical. I wouldn't believe it's all one strand. You're really clever. And you have good taste, she says, slipping it over his head. I wish you were my sister, he says simply, and a funny look crosses her face. Bet she's never heard those words before. I wait for a cutting remark, but she only says, I'll be your sister. Great, I'm gonna go show my father. Ampert gives her a hug, which she stiffly returns, and then she runs off, and her brow wrinkles. His father? It really is his pa, I tell her. Remember BD, the victor from District 3, got out of line? They're punishing him and making him mentor Ampert. That's a special kind of vicious. Would you want your family to be here? Honestly, can't think of anything worse. A game maker announces lunch, and we're directed back to our assigned bleachers where a peacekeeper delivers 4 boxes. I'm still full of breakfast and my guts hurt from Pinesh's attack, and the sight of Luella's unclaimed lunch kills my remaining appetite. A parade of blue, brown, peach, and red uniforms make their way to the foot of our bleachers, and I sort out its 3, 7, 8, and 10. Can we join you? Ampert asks. Sure, I say. If they're going to be our allies, it'll be good to bond a little. They clamber up beside us, and everybody shares their names, most of which I forget immediately. The kids from 10 are bruised and scabby from the chariot debacle, but they look like a sturdy enough bunch. From the next section, District 11 pretends to ignore us, but as they've all gone quiet, I guess they're eavesdropping, trying to figure out what kind of allies we would make. Ampert, this is your show, I say. Why don't you tell us what you've got in mind? I like how even though he's only 12, he jumps right in. All right, it's like this. A disproportionate amount of the time the careers win, but they're only 1/4 of the tributes. We've got 3 times their numbers. So the idea is if we get the rest of us together and for a change, we hunt them down instead of letting them hunt us. Can we do that, do you think? Asks a girl from 10. Why not, Lainey? Replies Albert. Why not? I think about how the districts outnumber the capital far more than 3 to 1. We don't have to buy into their mind games. That's how they always defeat us, Ampert declares. Everyone acts like the odds aren't in our favor, but I'm sure we can beat those odds. And at the word odds, Wyatt seems to blink awake. We'd have to factor in their stature, their training, their temperament, and their sponsor gifts, but given that, there are enough of us. His eyes get a faraway look. Yeah, this is normal for him, I tell the group. He's working out the odds of the 12 careers against us. And everyone waits respectfully. Yeah, it can be done. We could do it. It's still not a probability, but it's a solid possibility, reports Wyatt, especially if we can get all 9 districts to agree. The fact that Ampert is happy to have his dad with him, but actually, it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. So if we kill all the careers, asks Regina, what do the rest of us do then? Have another meeting, says Maisie. At least the Alliance gives us something to do besides freak out. Well, right now, we don't have 9 districts, though, Wyatt reminds us. We just have 5. I asked the others, but not everybody wants to join, says Ampert, and our attention turns to the bleachers stretching across the gym. At the far end, the careers mirror us, having assembled for lunch, snot green mixed with the purple of 2 and 4's deep sea blue. Districts 11, 9, 6, and 5 remain unattached. We watch as a few members of the careers toss their empty lunchboxes to the gym floor, and we walk down to where District 6 sits, and we steal a couple of the kids' They walk down to where District 6 sits, and they steal a couple of the kids' lunches. Games or no games, if you got a decent bone in your body, you hate a bully. District 6 is composed of 4 puny kids whose rickety limbs suggest that they have never seen sunlight. Victims of last night's chariot episode, they're bandaged in enough gauze to choke a horse. One has a twisted foot, and I remember the other collapsing on the shower floor, wheezing from the insecticide. I'm tempted to write them off entirely. What could they possibly bring to an alliance except neediness? But then I snag on the shade of their outfits. Dove-colored. Huh. Seems like a sign. 6 said no? I asked Ampert. They said they want to remain neutral so the careers don't target them. Well, see how that's working out, I say. A bone-thin little girl in Lenore Dove's color collapses on the bleachers, sobbing, and I grab my untouched lunchbox, scoop up Luella's, and make my way down to the bleachers. The crying girl recoils as I approach, and I hold out Luella's lunch. Here, we had a couple extras. And she hesitates and then takes the box with a shaking hand. The wheezing boy accepts the other. You all managing okay after the accident? The girl just nods. We're sorry our chariot hurt your friend. Frail she is, but considerate. No, it's not your friend. Frail she is, but considerate. No, it's not your fault. I never thought that for a minute. Thanks for not blaming us, she says. Blaming you? Seems like we're all in this together, I say. You know, we've got a pretty good alliance in the works, and I understand that you're trying to stay neutral, but really that just makes you a target for everybody. Anyway, the invite's still good. By the time I make it back to my gang, 4 broken doves are on my tail. They perch on the seat, whispering their name. Welly, the crying girl, Miles, the asthmatic boy, Atred and Velo, the boy and girl remaining. And they dig into their lunches. Well, 6 makes 6, says Wyatt. We need a name. If they're the careers, who are we? Asks Regina.
People toss out ideas for the names. Now that we're allies, District 12 offers loose cannons, District 10 comes up with dark horses, and 7 volunteers invaders. No, says Welly intensely. Those all sound like we're trying to be tough, but we're not tough compared to the careers. What we are is inexperienced, not trained from birth to win the games. Is that a really good selling point? Asks Lainey. In a way it is, says Amber. For one thing, it means that we haven't spent our whole lives buying into the games as something that we aspire to. We're not collaborators, says Regina. Right, but we have to fight it, and we will if we have to, says Amber. We need a good name for people who are just starting something hard, a district name. Like Nettie Newcomer, I say without hesitation, and others laugh. No, it's a real thing. In the mines, if you just started, they call you Nettie Newcomer. My pa used to call me that whenever he would teach me something new. Like, come on, Nettie Newcomer, let's learn to tie those boots. I like it, says Welly, and a smile transforms on her tear-stained face. We're the newcomers. Regina thinks it over and then grins, and we're proud of it. Everything feels better after lunch. It's less that I don't have fear that half the tribute. It's less that I don't have to fear half the tributes than I don't have to think about killing them. The latter's much worse, and now I can join my allies at the booth, and I know that they've got my back as we're learning to make snares, throw axes, and set a broken leg. The 4 tributes from District 6 stick to me like glue, my own little dove-colored flock, and I hope they don't think that I can protect them all when we hit the arena, because I can't. Wyatt seems to have found his people too. Ambert's code tributes from 3 have a fascination with his odds system, and he seems happy to share it with them. Number freaks find one another, I guess. It's Maisie who surprises me. Back home she isn't popular, she's just known. She's not respected, she's feared. She's not deferred to, but avoided. Here, following Ambert's lead, kids bring her their district trinkets and ask her to make them special, and she agrees. The girl must know 50 ways to braid, twist, and loop cord into a piece of finery, and she sets off their humble offerings from home with her fancy patterns. District pride runs deep. From 6, which covers transportation, Welly has an old bicycle bell, Miles has a train tin whistle, the livestock-loving District 10 brought horseshoes, and the lumberjacks of 7 carved wood trinkets. The girls from District 8 have little dolls and beautifully sewn outfits, and the kid from District 3 has a doorknob, but I'm really not sure how that reflects technology. Whatever they present her with, Maisie gives it dignity, and even though she still offers a fair amount of unsolicited fashion advice, 2 girls change their hairstyle and 1 boy promises to stop biting his nails, our allies do adore her. Yeah, it's pretty funny, Amanda. By the end of the training session, District 11 hasn't said yes, but they haven't said no either. If they're in, I wish they would just say so. We could use more brawn, and I saw Hull, the guy who kicked Finesse in the shower, fling a pitchfork and decapitate a dummy. Why pretend that that's not what we're here for? All of us newcomers stand a little bit straighter by the time that we're back to our vans. Even locked in the dark, Maisie, Wyatt, and I continue to make plans, sharing information about our allies and working on a strategy. In no time at all, the van pulls to a stop. That was quick, says Maisie, and the door swings open and a peacekeeper gestures for me to get out. Wyatt makes to follow, but the peacekeeper holds up a hand. Nope, just Abernathy. This isn't good. I slide out of the van in front of a white marble building far more imposing than our tribute apartment. It stretches the length of a block, single structure accessed by a huge pair of wooden doors inlaid with a pattern of gold stars. I catch a glimpse of Wyatt's furrowed brow as the door slams shut and the van speeds away. What's going on? Where am I? 2 men in violet uniforms stand silent attendance at the entrance, as if responding to some unheard signal. They haul open the doors to reveal Plutarch Heavensby, and he approaches me, his face unreadable. Hello, Hamish. I'm afraid there's been a last-minute schedule change. Just for me, I ask. Just for you. It seems the president has had second thoughts about your performance. Luella, under the balcony, snow up above. While I applauded for the whole capital to see, Plutarch doesn't need to explain further. This is where I pay for painting my poster. Dun, dun, dun. Woo! Hey, Jamantha. Well, well, well. It is a wild ride, indeed, indeed. Are you still asleep? If you're still asleep, someone's a sleepy girl. Yeah. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. How could you not be, Avery? How could you not be scared for him? All right. So the fact that Voldemort's actor is going to be Snow is going to be crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. He plays evil very, very well. We all know that. All right. Well, this book is so phenomenal, you guys. I love every second of it, and I love that we're all, getting to go through this together, as it were. What's going on? So obviously, no post, no mail is going to go out. So obviously, more people were charged today because yesterday was a holiday, whatever. So I'm going to pack up all of the yesterday and today and tomorrow grab bag people, so those can all go to the mail on Monday, which is very exciting. I did make 3 new grab bags this past week, so that's most people, and then I'll need to make a little more, and then once I'm done with that, I can start working on some like fun restock stuff that we've been promising, like the dragon eggs for Fourth Wing, some of the Taylor Swift stuff, and some of the Millennial Girl Memories stuff. So that is on the horizon because I already purchased all the supplies for those things, so it's not like I can just not make them, because otherwise I'm not gonna have any space in the slime room, which would be bad, because I have a whole shelf that's just dragon eggs right now, and they have to go somewhere, so they're going to all of you. Dragon eggs are super cool though, really fun. And what else? I am going to put up the agenda for the Roll for Slime birthdays and the blind boxes. I have to get those blind boxes, the pins from Jen before we can do that, actually. Or not Jen, from Jane. I need to talk to Jane, actually, and get her to mail me those. Because as soon as I have those, we can, the eggs are very cool. We have 3 new colors of eggs that are specifically the colors of the dragons in the book. So we have black ones, gold ones, and white ones, because those are what the eggs look like in the book. If some packages come to your P.O. box, it says delayed. Everything says delayed this weekend, Amanda. Isn't that weird? So you decided, Mill Girl, not a Swiftie? Oh, both. We're gonna do it together, Nikki. Yeah. I didn't decide one way or another. We're just gonna do like a smattering of things that are everything, rather than just having one or the other. That way everybody gets something they like. So I did order the Taylor Swift charms, and they're really cool. And I also ordered the Millennial Girl Memory stuff. So we have a little bit of both, which is really fun. Guys, so like a lot of the Taylor Swift eras are going to come with the charms that are scanners. So when you scan your slime, hey Stephanie, how are you? When you scan your slime, it'll take you to the album on Spotify. So that's kind of fun, right? At least I thought that's like a cool charm. So like, if you if you get the red album, you get the album, it's just silly, but it's fun. I love it too. And you can they have little holes in the end, so you can turn it into a keychain if you want, which is kind of cute. It's just like a subtle way to show your love of all the things. 3 Nights of Fire with my dog. Stephanie, I'm so sorry, but I actually wanted to tell you something related to that. I saw, Shake It Off would be amazing. I saw someone who was wearing their dog the way that you've been wearing your dogs for training to regulate them from the fireworks. And I didn't see it till this morning, or I would have told you last night. But if there's still more fireworks tonight, wrap your puppy, and it might help them regulate against the fireworks. I literally saw this morning. Someone did that last night, and it worked, apparently. So, I don't know. I mean, it's not great, but yeah, because the compression, and then you're close and they feel safe. I can't imagine any of the dogs are doing great. Dogs, cats, babies, it's all hard for all of them. Yeah. Of course, Stephanie, of course. It's not a fix, it's just it's a little something. It's like a thunder vest, exactly. Yeah, similar. So that's the whole kit and caboodle. I'm gonna go change some diapers here and feed this little nugget, and then take her to the farmer's market, because we are out of all our fruits and vegetables and we need them. Yeah, it's a Band-Aid. That's exactly right. It's a Band-Aid. Yes. Yes. So that is the whole story, as it were. Obviously, we don't have book club tomorrow because it's Sunday. I think we are going to try to take her to something to see, like either an exhibit or something. We always try to take her to something that will like get her little brain going. You know, there's a lot of like free art museums and exhibits and stuff like that in Los Angeles, so we always try to take her to something on Sundays. Thank you, I will, Roxy. Or maybe we'll take her to a small beach where we can see like tide pools or something. I don't know, we're gonna take her to something. But then we'll be back on Monday for more reading and hopefully a Slime Live if we can get, oh no, I have class on Monday. I'm so sorry. We didn't have class this week, so I totally forgot. I have to go back to class on Monday and Tuesday. So Wednesday, hopefully we'll have a Slime Live because I have class on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, I love you all, and I will see you Monday. Bye, guys. I'm hoping to get some slime videos up today, tomorrow, and Monday anyway, though. What did she think of the water when you went to, oh my God, she loved the beach, you guys. Wait, I'm not even joking. I have a photo I have to show you guys. I'm gonna block out her face and my husband's face. We took her like into the water. She loved it. She was just like happy as a clam. It was amazing. We have a hysterical photo that my sister took though.